In the 25th edition of our weekly AI and digital marketing live demo. And for today, we are going to talk about stop getting generic AI content. And this is a very important topic. And why did I choose this topic today? It's just because everybody gets AI content these days to market on your social media, to generate content for your lead magnet, and also to write blogs, articles, anything about your brand. And so, one thing that we know for sure is that if AI doesn't have context about your business, you are going to get generic feedback and you are going to sound like everybody else. So today we are going to focus on how to train your AI to speak like you and also to speak like it knows everything about your brand. And if you are able to hone this experience, you can even train all your AI agents to speak like you when they pick up phones on your website and talking to chatbots. They're all going to sound like you and they are going to remember everything. So um, how many times have you really had to start a new conversation with AI? Every time that you prompt your AI, you have to give it more information about your business, about your branding, about your ICP, or let's say about your ideal client profile, which is your ICP or your avatar. Every time you have to ask a question, you have to input this information every now and then. And that is very tedious. And so that is one of the things that you don't like because every time you have to feed it with that information, every time you start a new chat, you have to feed it with that information. Another thing is that it's time wasting because every time you come, you have to repeat yourself all the time. It gets annoying, it gets tiring, and it's not consistent because you are not going to sound exactly the same all the time. So every time you put in some information, you are going to get a different feedback. And how many times do you have to start a new chat just because of an the chat context window got full, right? And so it doesn't remember anything that you are asking it, or it starts hallucinating. That is when the context window becomes full, and then information start dropping. All the information that you fed it in the beginning kind of escape because of the window. So let's say if the window gets full, all the information that you had from the beginning start leaking from the bottom of the contest window. And we are going to go into that. Now, I've done this class before, and that was just the introductory to this course. And the name of this course, this video is Stop Re-Explaining Everything to ChatGPT. Upload once, ask forever. So this course, today's edition is building on what we did last time. And this is something that has been bothering a lot of creators, content creators. So I hope this is going to solve this problem of hallucination and a lot of, let's say, lies from your AI to bring you consistent content that is going to sound like you every time. So let's go back and let me show you what I have today. So yeah, this is the topic I was talking about. Stop re-explaining everything to ChatGPT. You upload once and you ask forever. And this is in my live video. This was done 2 months ago. So you can always go back and watch it and get the full concept. But today's edition is just going to build on that. So let me go straight to my slides and let's start rolling today. So for today, as I said, the topic is stop getting generic content. Train Puppy AI on your brand voice. So the tool that we are going to talk about today is called Get Puppy AI, and it's a tool that really helps you to organize all your content the way you want your AI to behave, to talk, to sound. This is where you put everything together. So Puppy AI is more like a database for your AI, but it goes beyond that. And I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. So yeah, your AI is always going to sound generic, just like any other AI. And so once you put in something into a prompt into your AI, if it doesn't know anything about you, it's just going to give you the generic information, which is going to get from the internet. And if you notice, if you ask an AI a question, it's just going to give you what it knows, right, from the web. And the problem that we are having is that with the AI without a context is just going to give you a generic flat media caption. So there's no personality, there's no brand voice, and it could belong to any business. And some of the problems here are the copy and paste problem, right? You ask your AI to write you a post for your business, and it writes something that could belong to business A, B, C, or D. And there's also a memory problem, which is the context window I talked about. You paste in your brand guidelines, one good response, and then you close that chat. It forgets everything. So let's say you start chat A, you give it all the information that you need. You query it, you've been working back and forth, and then it gets to a point, the context window is full up. Now it tells you that the information in that particular chat is full. So you have to start a new conversation. Now, once you start a new conversation or a new chat, guess what? You don't have information about the previous chat that you were having, so then you have to start all over again by putting in your brand information and all that. I mean, you can solve that problem on the project level where you can have one project and then you can have all these different charts in there, but it's still not as effective as using a tool like Get Puppy AI, which I'm going to demonstrate to you. And also the repetition problem, these are all kind of related. You have to repeat yourself all the time. You have to type all the time, the same thing all over and over and over again. And this is because of the issue with context, right? The context window problem. So we want to solve that kind of problem. And the real reason here, AI does not know your brand. So a lot of people blame their AI and say, oh, this AI is not good, that AI is not good. Remember, when it comes to AI, it's garbage in, garbage out. Whatever information you feed it, it's going to give you that output. So if you are not feeding it with the right information, you are not going to get the right feedback. And also, you have to know that every time you open your AI chat, it's kind of connected to the web. So it's going to get information from the web. So let's say you ask ChatGPT, it's going to search general data and then give you generic content from the internet because it's a collection of a lot of information, right, on the web, and that's what it's going to get you. Now, if you should have a tool like Copy, which is going to be like the intermediate or the repo between you and the internet, then you can control what comes in and what you wanted to get from the outside world, right? From the web. And once you have this system in place, you reduce things like hallucination. Hallucination is when the AI comes up with unnecessary information, lies, and things that makes you feel good about yourself or about your brand or something like that. It's not being honest with you. It just gives you whatever that you want. I mean, not necessarily, but when we talk about hallucination, we're just talking about not getting the right information from the AI. It's just giving you some garbage. So I've been talking about context window and context window. What is context window? So this I pulled this from IBM website, and they say that context window or the context length is a large language model, which is usually LLM. It's the amount of text in tokens that the module can consider or remember, or let's say process at any one time. So that is what I was talking about. Every chat has its context window, how much tokens, how many tokens it can take for that particular chat. So every chat module is a little bit different, but the more information, then it start getting full, right? And if you have an LLM with a very large context window, then that means that it can process a lot of information before it gets full. So, um, just to give you context about what context window is, that is what it is. It's more like, let's say you have a cup full, right? You have a bottle or a cup, and that context window is the amount of information that window can store or process. So if it becomes full, then there is leakage of information, and that is why we have this kind of problem, and also the generic issues that we have with internet. So once we solve this context window issue, we are solving that issue, and at the same time we are making sure that we are asking the AI to give the right information about our branding. It has to get it right all the time. So here, Poppy has this technology behind it, right? And we call this the RAG. And what does it mean? RAG is the Retrieval-Augmented Generation. So what it does is it creates something like, in simple terms, it creates something like a database, right? So your own AI has its own RAG system or its own memory where it can go in and get all the information that it needs. If it has to go outside, that is fine. But the first point of contact is going to be your rack system. And that is the technology behind Puppy AI. In simple terms, that's what it looks like. And so your brand voice, you can upload your brand voice, your audience profile, or your client avatar or your ICP, your offer details, right? Let's say, what are you selling? What products do you offer? What are your services? Your best performing content, everything that you posted out onto social media, you can, anything that is about your brand, you can bring it in, business FAQs, any file, any URL that you think that is attached to your brand that is going to help your customers or your leads. You want to have them in your brand voice. And also, when you upload all your assets or your artifacts, what is going to happen is that Poppy is going to learn. It's going to learn this on a daily basis. Poppy AI indexes your content permanently, and it does not forget, right? Everything that you provided to it is going to remember. So whenever you query it, it's always going to go into this database and get that information about your brand before it even thinks about going outside. And over time, it kind of learns your business and understand your business. And you don't have to do this on a repetitive basis. And then every time you generate your piece of content, Poppy creates it and it pulls it directly from all your materials that you have. And it doesn't guess. And so it's getting everything right. And the good thing about this whole thing is that your database is just a living repository, right? So anytime that you make changes to your business, anytime that you update any information, you just come into your Poppy board and then you update that information, and then Poppy will have that new information. So this is not something that is written in stone. You can always be tweaking and adding and subtracting. If you drop an offer, you can always go back and pull it out from there. So with ChatGPT or Claude, is trained on the internet, but when you use Poppy AI using the RAG technology or the Retrieval Augmented Generation, you will be able to train Poppy on your business, on your content, on your on your YouTube videos, on anything that you process or you use to get things done. It could be your taxes, it could be anything, right? Once you have that AI, that is more like the AI layer on top of your database. And I've used this simple technology to build apps for my students, and you can use it to build any app that you want. And those are the advanced classes I will share with you guys in the near future. So let's go on and get things done. So first of all, this is how this whole thing works, right? You feed Puppy AI with everything that it needs. So we are going to do that. Or some of the things that you can feed it with, and it accepts all forms of documents, all forms of assets, brand voice, so your tone, your language, your font, the fonts that you use, your color theme, everything about the business. You want to have it as your brand voice, your audience profile, you can add it. What kind of people do you serve? What demographics, their ages, their pain points, their language, the slangs that they use, all those information you want to have them under their audience profile. When it comes to office, what are you selling? What products are you selling? What services do you provide? This is your office, right? So you want to put your offers in there. When it changes, you can also change it. When you add a new offer, you can add it there, your best content, or you can pull content like content that you really want to, let's say, emulate. Let's say if you know a very good social media content writer and you want to follow them, you can use their best content as as an inspiration in your puppy board. And so before any content is generated, this is going to look at your best content depending on the kind of prompt that you give it. It's going to take that information and then write it to suit that kind of content that you want. Your story, it could be about you, about your background, about your resume, about what you've gone through, your journey, and all that kind of stuff. And then about your competitor gaps. Literally, you want to give Puppy as much information as you want, depending on your use case. And based on that, it's going to crunch all this information and give you the best that you never even thought of. So you upload once, all of this stuff, you upload them once, and you can keep on query Puppy all the time, and it's going to be consistent with your content generation, and we are going to see what you can use this for. So what changes when AI knows your brand? And before that, right, you generate generic captions that could belong to anybody. This is what is happening to most of you guys. You are spending 2 to 3 hours editing AI output, right? You use AI to get all this information, and then you have to babysit this content and change things and correct this because the AI lied in some parts that you don't want it to go out there. So it's crazy. You use AI and then you have to spend another hour just trying to remove bad stuff from the content that was generated. You are re-explaining your brand every time that you have to open a new chat. Every time you have to explain yourself to your AI to tell them, because every new chat is it's a blank slate, right? You have to build on top of it. And also there's inconsistent messaging across platforms. So today is this, tomorrow is that. Like I said, you will not be able to really explain everything to this AI every time. So you want to make sure that you do it once and for all, and this information is going to be in the repo every time the AI needs to query it in order to give you a feedback. Also, hallucination reduces and the content will blend in. So here, once you start using a tool like Puppy, which solve all these problems that we've talked about, your captions sound like you, right? It's your branding. It has all the information about your brand. So it talks like you. publishing AI content with minimal editing. You once you ask it to generate your content, whether for your social media posting, for your blog, or whatever you want to use your content for, maybe for your Facebook ads, for your generic, organic post on LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. It knows what you want for your LinkedIn, the kind of things. Maybe when you post on my LinkedIn, do not use emojis. If you post on my Instagram, do not use, you have all these guardrails set up, all these instructions, everything in your puppy bot. So it looks at everything and it does it consistently all the time for different platforms. You can have different rules for different platforms and what have you. It's the same voice, same tone, and also, it's the same every time. It knows your brand permanently, and it continues to get better and better as you continue to query it and even make some tweaks here and there, correct it here and there if there are any mistakes, and it answers the answer that it gives you. You have more confidence in these answers, right? So even if you have to do a proofread to make sure that everything, you're not going to be scrutinizing it as if it was coming from the internet, because you know that 95% of it is already coming from your puppy board and content that builds on recognition. So with this, your brand, your audience knows that, you are consistent with your messaging. It's not different. It's not, you don't sound like, you today, and then tomorrow you are sounding like company B, and then the next day you are sounding like company C and all that. There's always consistency in your branding. So one brand, one brand board, one full month of content in one session. So these are some of the uses where you can use your copyright. You can use it to do your Instagram captions. You can post 30 days of posts in the exact voice. It's not going to be different. Your LinkedIn articles, this is going to sound like you, just as you want it. Facebook post, story scripts, carousel outlines, comment replies, like I have my AI responding to comments on certain platforms. It responds like me because I've trained it to be like me. It have access to the way I speak and all that kind of stuff. So it can reply things on my behalf, and it sounds just like me. And it wouldn't use anything that I wouldn't use. These are the guardrails that I've explain to the AI, that do not do say this or that. So let's say, for instance, one of my coaching tickets, it can be at different prices depending on what the person is looking for. So for instance, when it gets to questions like that, how much is your offer? How much is your coaching? I've trained the AI not to say anything. So right there, when that person asks the AI this question, it's going to respond that in order to get the right price, you need to speak with Eric. Things like that, right? But if your AI is not trained, it might check your offer that you provide, and then look at the prices and you just give it out there. So these are some of the reasons. You can also use it for your email newsletters, YouTube script outlines, blog posts, draft, repurpose content. Guys, everything that I'm talking about here, this is how I use my puppy board, and I'm going to show you in a minute. So here is what we are going to do today. So I have a prompt that we are going to use. We are going to query ChatGPT or Claude, whatever AI is your choice. We are going to query it and ask it a question about writing something for us. And then we're going to build a new puppy board, and then once we build it, we will ask it the same question and see the kind of information it's going to give it to me based on that prompt. And then we can compare the one we got from Claude without Puppy AI, and then the one we got from Puppy AI. So That is what we are going to do. We are going to open the Puppy AI and create a brand board and upload brand materials. And brand materials will be about the company or the business information. And then we are going to test the prompt again. And then we are going to ask it to give us, let's say, a 1 month content for our social media channel. So let's get into it right away. You know that this is where we love hands-on demos. This is where we learn everything that, we talk about. We practice what we preach. Knowing things on paper is one thing, and doing them for them to really sink in your subconscious is another. And this is the part that we do that. So if you have your puppy, please log in into your account, and then let's do this together. If not, then you can always sign up on Puppy, and Sandrine is going to drop the link for you to test drive Puppy AI. Puppy AI is one wonderful tool, and I'm going to be doing a lot of AI videos about Puppy, and I will show you how I use Puppy to build websites, how I use Puppy to organize all my clients, my client content, like those who have social media. I'm working on their social media account. This is how we create their puppy bots, so that every time that we have to post content on their social media pages, it's consistent. We have the same brand voice consistently over the period of our posting, and it's going to post them based on the platform that they're supposed to be. Let's say, there's a different format for LinkedIn, there's a different format for Facebook, there's a different format for Instagram, and all of that. And so if you're a business and you want to try Puppy yourself, then I recommend that you try Puppy with the link provided. And also, if you're a business and you want us to handle your social media marketing for you, content generation for you, we will be excited to do that for you. If you have blogs and you have content requirements that you want us to handle for you, we will be happy to do that for you with our own Puppy account. So you don't have to subscribe to Puppy. We will do that for you, and all your content will be consistent across board. So please grab that link. You can book a 30 minutes meeting with me, free consultation, and I'll see how I can help your business with AI tools, and also how to help you with your content generation across all platforms. So let's get into it. And guys, if this is really valuable to you, please drop some ones in here. Let me know if this is really valuable to you. Let me know. And if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section, not in the chat, but in the comment section. I read all the comments and answer them. So please drop in your comments. Let me know. Please share this video with any person, any business owner this might be very helpful to them. And please subscribe to this channel if you are not a subscriber yet. We organize this live demos every Wednesday, 11 a.m. EST and 3 p.m. GMT. So next week, we are going to be here on a Tuesday, not on Wednesday, but Tuesday, next week, Tuesday. So let's go get our hands dirty and let's get it done right now. So let's see here. Alrighty. So we have our puppy board. Let me All right, all right, all right. So this is one thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to say that I'm going to go to my regular Claude, and I'm just going to just ask it to random, write me a social media post for my AI consulting business, right? So let's assume that, this doesn't really know anything, even though this chat Claude knows more about my business. It doesn't have everything in context. It doesn't have all the information that it needs. So I'm just going to give it this generic prompt and let's see what it's going to do. And so it's just going to come up, it's reading the market content skill to, all right. So here it looks as if that it has some information in here because of the way I've set it up. I have some folders and projects and all that kind of stuff. I was trying to find like a Virgin account to use, but I'm already on the Pro here. So it's going to come up with some information which is, based on my previous conversation with it. It might have some context, but it doesn't have everything. But let's look at this right now. So here it says option one, LinkedIn, authority led. Most professionals aren't losing to AI. They are losing to the professionals who figured it out. Right. So this, right, me, okay, right. It didn't really give much, right? So let's remember this prompt. We are going to use this prompt once we organize our Puppy board. So let's get into Puppy. Now, Puppy, as I said, it's a RAG system, right? It's a RAG system. So it kind of serves as a database for you to connect all your assets and then query it based on the information that you put in. You are going to get what you want. And this is how you want your AI to be responding to you, especially when you are working on your brand. So here, for instance, this is a board. Now, what is a Puppy board? A Puppy board is the bucket or the repo where you organize your projects. So on the top, you can have, let's say, instead of a Puppy board, you can call it a project. But in Puppy, we call it a Puppy board. So in Puppy board, you can group all your different boards together, right? You can put them in different, depending on the kind of job that you want it to do. So for instance, let me show you the kind of Puppy boards I have over here. The paid ad system it's a board which is used to create Facebook ads and all paid ads like, Google ads and Facebook ads predominantly. So this is the system that have been put together. So anytime that I wanted to generate ads for me, this is where I come. This is the AI Accelerator program, which is also another board for my coaching program. Now I clone this for time's sake. I kind of clone this one so that we can use this for our demo. So I don't have to build everything from the scratch, but I'm going to explain to you. But I have my YouTube content engine here. This is what I use to generate all my content for my YouTube channel, right? When it comes to AI support, right? Even for the support that I get from Puppy, I have a support chat where I can go in there and talk to it and it gives me all the answers, so I can have a podcast engine and this trains it how I want my podcast to be written. So as you can see, Baykes Cloud Consultancy Agency, this is all the information about my agency when it comes to MSP AI product, so there is so many different Puppy boards that have different purposes and you can break boards into pieces as much as you can. So this is how it looks like. This is the board that we are going to work on. So I cloned one. Now, before I go inside this to show you more of this stuff, let me show you the ad system. So when we come to the ad system, you know that I have my live ads. So let's say if I have live ads, this is where I'm going to place them. I can create a folder and put all the assets in one folder, right? And then here I have my customer data input, which is more like my audience. Who is my audience? So I have their information here. Extra input. What do I want to add? So this is one similar one similar board, right, where this is used for my Facebook ads. So when it comes to the branding, I have all my videos here, anything about my brand, I have it in here. And this is what we are going to build. So this is just enough information for for you to know what is possible and what is not possible. Here, for instance, I have this thing going on, which is the board that we are going to use today. So this is a cloned one. And let me see here. And here too, yeah, this is the clone one. Now I'm going to show you how this whole thing looks like, about one of my software that is running, which is a live website, right? This is everything that is running on the website. It's running on Puppy. So I've built a whole website using this, and I will be happy to show you guys how this was done in a future video. So if you want to see how I use Puppy to build an app or to build a website, just let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to demo this. So let's go to the one that we are going to work on today. So this is the Puppy board, and let me just blow this up a little bit and show you here. Now, these are the stuff that you can use to add things to your Puppy board. So these are all the assets. If you want to add a website, you just have to click this and then it opens that website element for you. And then let's say you can go to any website, let's say, Google. If this is the website that you want to add, you can come here, you copy your website, and let's close this. So let me blow up this a little bit. And then you put in your website here, and then you say add website. Now you've added an artifact, right? You've added an asset, and this is your website. So maybe you want to name it website. Okay. So this is how you add things to your Puppy board. So you can add a website. Now we have this website here. If you want to annotate, let's say you want to write names, then you can use this to write names. So here we can say assets, and that's if I want to label this as assets, right? If I want to label this as asset, that's what I'm going to do. Now, here is the text. So let's say if I have an information that I don't have it in any other format and it's just a text, then I can copy this, right? So maybe I can go to a website and just copy this, and then I can add it as a text, right? Let me go here. I can add it as a text, and then whatever it is, I can say text about, Google. I will name it here, just about Google, right? And this can be anything that you are working on. So I'm just showing you different ways you can add artifacts or assets onto your Puppy board. Here you can add audio. So here I can just click on this audio thing, and then I can allow it and I can talk and talk, as I'm talking, it's recording my audio. So I can capture an audio from somewhere. I can just grab any audio information, and once I'm done, it's done. And then I can stop it. Now this audio is going to be transcribed. This is also something that we can add. So, you can add so many things. And over here, if you want to upload something from your Dropbox, your Google Drive, or from your device, you can always do that. So I can come in here and then I'll say that, hey, let's add this PDF, whatever, right? This PDF is going to be added. I can add more. Once it's done, I can add more, right? And so this is how you add access to your, and you can even add a Loom video. You can add a Loom video here. You can add Facebook ads. This one connects you straight to the Facebook ad library, and you can type the ads that you are looking for. So AI coaching, let's say I'm looking for AI coaching. I can search for it, and it's going to give me all the ads. That is if my Facebook account is connected to this repo, then right, but my Facebook is not added. That is why I'm not able to pull out the information. But if my Facebook ad account is added, then I'm going to pull out all information about ads that I'm trying to target or to use as inspiration and what have you. So there's so much you can add. I can add, so let's see here. I can also come here and then add things like things from YouTube. All that you need to do is to generate the URL and then drop in the link. So I can come here and say copy link address of this YouTube video and then come back here. I can drop it in here. I can drop Instagram. I can drop TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all that. So if I come here and I drop the YouTube, I can just add it, or I can just copy the link from YouTube and then just paste it, using the Control V, right? So I can just hit the Canva and then I do Control V and then I paste it the same way. So you can add anything that you want. Now, for the purpose of this training, so anytime you have all this information, you can also group them. Now, if you want to get a bird's eye view of this, all that you need to do is to do a fit view, and then you can see everything that you have, right? So here I have my brand information. I have the LinkedIn information. So let me open this, blow it up a little bit for you. So here, for instance, I'm trying to connect all my assets so let's make this. So for instance, if you are trying to do a social media for this demo, what we are trying to do is to generate a 30-day calendar social media content that we want to post across our social media platforms, right? So how are we going to do it? We don't want to get the generic information that we got from the prompt that we put into Claude, right? The Claude, it says, write me a social media post for my AI consulting business, promoting my free strategy call. It doesn't even know what it is, right? And it had option one here, and then it gave me option two and option three. Now we are going to use the same prompt to do that. Now, before you fill in your copy board, you have to name it. So here, for instance, you can click in it. You can clone any board, or I can share this board with anybody um, who has a copy board, and I can share this board with them, and they can also use it on their for their brand. So guys, if you need a puppy board, just shoot me. It's me in the comment section, and if I have that bot, I can share with you and you can reuse it. Just add your own company information and it's going to serve the same thing. So here, for instance, I created my brand, I created my audience, my content goals, and my inspiration. So my inspiration will be, maybe I like the way Alex Hormozi posts his content, and so I'm gonna go grab Alex Hormozi's kind of content and then put them here. That will be my inspiration. So here, for instance, I'm doing adding my LinkedIn profile. So this is part of my branding, right? I can put this thing in here as part of my branding. And so here, all that I did was, I went to my LinkedIn profile, grabbed everything over here, and you can see that in a text format. I grabbed all my LinkedIn information and then I copied it, and I didn't use a link. I wanted to use the text. So all that I did was come here and then open this and then pasted the content in there, and that was it. So this is how you add content with, in a text format. So that was it, right? So that was my resume. And then here, my branding, as you can see, I have a lot of stuff going on here. Because I have so many things going on, I kind of put it in a folder, and this is how you create a folder. This is the group button. So you click on this and then, you can move it somewhere on the Canva. You can name it, whatever name you want to give it. So demo, I will name it demo group. It's too small to see, so I will blow it up. But this is how it will look like right here, demo group. So I can drop this guys in there so that the AI knows that it's a group, right? So here I have my brand, I have the website, I have some of my YouTube videos, so that it knows my voice, right? It knows information about my brand, and this is the brand itself. When I go in there, I have the brand mission and values, the brand voice, the products that I have, the AI Freedom Accelerator, Baykes Cloud Consultant, one-on-one coaching. So my full audience, full ICP, the target audience, the primary, right? Software engineers, DevOps engineers, solutions architect, and all that kind of stuff. This is how you define your ICP, right? Here, it's all about my videos, the websites, about my branding. This also is another website that you can, and all this were added to this board using any of these elements here, right? You can do a website, you can do a text, you can do audio, you can upload something from your Dropbox, your Google Drive, or your machine, and you can do a Loom video, explainer video. You can add that here. You can add Facebook ads, and also you can add Google. And once you have all this stuff, right? And for the sake of time, I'm not going to do all this because your branding is going to be different, but you have your LinkedIn profile, which is also supposed to be part of the branding. Excuse me. You can always add it to the branding if you want. Yeah. And then let me delete this group right now. I was just for illustration purposes, so I delete that. And then the audience is going to be who your audience is. Who are you selling, right? So here, for instance, this here is like the branding. I've explained everything here: mission and values, brand voice and personality, product and services, unique selling proposition, right? And then when it comes to your audience, who do you help, right? What are their biggest pain points, their challenges, their frustrations, what keep them up at night, their goals and aspirations. So all this stuff, you need to have them here. And then also your content goals. So for instance, here, if you come here, you will see what my ICP is, right? Then again, I describe them, the demographics, what they are, their biggest pain points, and all that. And then once I come here, the content goes. This is very important. So the main focus on this particular demo is about social media content, right? So what are my content goals? So here, my content goals are, I want, these are some of my content goals. I want to paint mirror, right? Credibility, education, proof, objection killer. All these are things that I want my content to address about my ICP or my audience, right? I want my content to be able to solve their problem. And so this is how, let's say, for instance, for my offer one, these are the requirements that I want from my content to achieve, right? Yes, and then let's say if I have an offer two, then this will be the content goals. If I have offer three, so there's so much you can do. And I intentionally, even though I don't have offer two here, I brought this thing here so that it will give you an idea that you are not limited to just one offer. So if you have multiple products and or offers that you have a different content angle for each of them, you can do that in this folder, right? And also the inspiration. So, like I said, if Alex Hormozi is the guy that I want to emulate, right? Or I'm inspired by his content and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go to Instagram or go to YouTube, for instance, and let's say I'll say Alex Mozi. There he is. And then maybe I like his angles on, certain topics, or maybe how he does his content in general. I'll just come here, copy, the video link. I go back here and then I'm gonna drop it in here. Um, and so this is going to be my inspiration. I can add three, four, five, six, seven, 8 videos if I want to. It could be all Alex Moses, or it could be a mixture of different experts, right? And then I can have, let's say, another folder for my ads. But one pro tip here is that don't overload your board, right? So let's say if I wanted to add Facebook ads here, I can also do that, but I would prefer to have a Facebook ad folder or board so that it will not be too much. Now, once we have all these things here, then what we want to do is that we want to connect it to a chatbot, right? This chatbot is going to help us get more information from this. So here you always want to add a chatbot. Without a chatbot, your bot is useless. So you need to get a chatbot. That chatbot is going to be where you can have interaction, you have a conversation with it. So we create the chatbot every time here. And all that we need to do is to connect all this information to the chatbot. Okay. So let me blow it up a little bit. And then let's connect all this information to the chatbot. Come on. Yes. So we add the audience, and then we add the content goals. We add everything here. Um, and then we add the inspiration, my inspiration. I add it here. So I've got four things connected. Let's say for here, if I wanted to add some more information, I can create another board, another folder and add more information. But like I said, you don't want to overdo this. You want to break up your boards into pieces so that every board is kind of different. And here, is what we are going to go in there and then query it, right? So let's see, we can ask it, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see connected to you? So now this is our AI's database. Now it has information about my brand. It has information about everything that I'm doing with this business. And so it knows my content information, the content expectations, what it has to do, the content goals, and all that kind of stuff. So now let's go back and grab that, grab that prompt that we gave to Claude. And let's give the same thing to Poppy and see what it's going to do. So we come here and then let me blow this up. And so I will say, let me type the same thing in there. Write me a social media post for my AI consulting business promoting my free strategy call. So let's do this and see what is going to happen. Now, so now it knows everything about me, right? Look at the way it is writing, right? It's writing so much. It even knows my calendar link, right? Because everything has been put in there. And this is telling me that this is for LinkedIn page, right? And then do you want me to adapt this for Instagram, Facebook, and shorter versions for Reels caption and all that? But guys, look the difference between this, right? I just asked it to write me a social media post for my AI consulting business, promoting my free AI strategy. This one didn't have a clue about anything. It could have asked me about what offer, what this, what that, and then I would be going back and forth with this AI, conversation, this chatbot. I'll be going back and forth, right? It didn't do that, but here are a few options across platforms and tones, right? Uh, all follow your copy rules, no EM dashes. Like I said, this one knows something about me. So even with that, it didn't really do a good job of going into details, adding my calendar information and all that kind of stuff. Even though it knows some stuff about me, it still couldn't get all the information. Now, if I go to what our puppy bot did, it just didn't, just spit out a generic information, right? Look at the information here. Most professionals aren't losing to AI. They are they are losing to professionals who figured out how to use AI. Yeah, it's a good message here, but it's all more generic, talking to everybody. Now, this one knows about my avatar, right? It knows about who it is talking to. It knows that it's talking to tech professionals, DevOps engineers, system admins. It knows them, right? I turned down 200K promotion to bet on myself, not because I was fearless, because I was exhausted. And everything that it is saying is based on my background, what I went through, my story, and all that kind of stuff. So this information here is not just generic, but it's talking about my brand. It's talking about my coaching program. So 18 years plus, 18 plus years building cloud infrastructure for enterprises, DevOps, solutions architecture, right? Constant travel, Sunday dread, messing up. So all these pain points that are associated with my ICP, my ideal client. It was mentioning them, right? The pain points, the solution, everything is here. Your domain knowledge, systems thinking. So it's talking about that. It knows them, and also the content that I wanted to write. It's talking about all those things, taking information from sources that I've trained it to pick information from. And it even came here and said that if you want to, sit with me, there's a 30 minutes free consultation, and it even has a link to my calendar, so people can just click on this thing. This can be posted to my LinkedIn profile, and boom, right away there is a current calendar link, and this is just telling me that this is for LinkedIn. It can write for other um, social media platforms, right? So this is how you make sure that you are generating content that is always talking like the way you want it to be, about your branding, about how you speak, about your office, about everything that you want it to be. So, guys, this is how you go about it, setting up a a rack system in Puppy AI. Once you set it up once, that's it. You can run this over and over and over again. Now, if something changes, all that I need to do is to come in here and change it. I don't have to do much, right? If I want to update something, I'll just come in here. Let's say next week, my new audience is, 60-year-old men who want to learn how to code. Then all that I need to do is to come in here and change that information, as simple as that. And everything else is going to be the same. So, guys, this is how you can structure your train your AI to be able to give you consistent content about your branding. And this can be used for your emails, for your blogging, for your YouTube videos, for your podcast, for your social media marketing. And guys, as I said, if you want us to help you with your social media management, posting on 5 to 7 platforms at the same time, and doing this consistently with your branding information, we'll be happy to talk to you. Let me know in the chat if this is really valuable, and give me some tools if this was really great. Um, yeah, and so let's see what we have next. Yeah, so just to recap everything that we've learned today, we weighed the pros and cons of having a generic AI system and having a rack system like Puppy AI that can give you structured, consistent content forever. As long as you continue to query it, it's gonna give you all the information that you expect it to give you. It's not gonna give you generic information or content that sounds like every other business out there, and you want to make sure that you are standing out from the crowd. And also, we created a Puppy AI board. We didn't start from the scratch, but you know how to do this. If you don't know how to do this, you can always go back to the video I showed you, which is this one. Stop re-explaining everything to ChatGPT. You upload once and you ask forever. Once you go to this video, you are going to understand how we put the board together, how we create it, and all that kind of stuff. It's very easy to do it. Anybody can do it. And Puppy, just like we have projects in uh, Claude, we also have Puppy bots in Puppy AI. So I hope this was useful. And we also uploaded our brand voice, the audience profile, and offer details. I showed you all of that. We also generated onboard social media content live in real time. That's what I showed you. We can generate for the whole 30 days, and it's just going to be the same. We've run out of time, so that's why I didn't do that. But we can generate a whole 30-day full of content, and it's all going to be consistent with your branding. We compared our prompt output with ChatGPT and then the one that we got from Puppy AI. We saw that the one that we got from ChatGPT was just a generic one. It sounded like everybody else, even though this knows some information about me, it was still very generic. Now, when we go to the Puppy board, we were able to get something that was talking to my ICP. It uses my background, my LinkedIn profile, what I've done in the past, and it also kind of addressed the pain points for my ICP or my client's avatar, right? And it was talking to them. It was laser focused on talking to them based on everything that I've already given it to it. So that was just, everything that you needed to know about how to train your AI, and this is not just about social media content, but it's about everything. And there are a lot of use cases about Puppy, and within the next few weeks, I'll be showing you a lot of things that you can use Puppy AI for, like building your own software, building your own apps, and what have you. So I hope this was really useful. And once again, let's drop the links if you want to get Puppy AI, test drive it. Sandrine is going to drop the link in there so that you can test it out yourself, and drop me questions in the comment section if you have any questions. If you are interested in any use case that you're not sure whether Puppy has, drop me a question in the chat, and if I have it, I will share that with you, or maybe I can build a Puppy board and share with you so that you can use it in your workflow. Everything is possible with Puppy, and I hope that you are going to sign up with Puppy and then see how things work. If you don't want to do that, and if this is too much work for you, then You can always contact us for 30 minutes free call to discuss your business. We are located in South Florida, and the name of the business is Base Cloud Agency. And on that note, I say thank you very much for coming in today. We meet again next week, uh, Tuesday, next week, Tuesday, instead of Wednesday. That is the only change that is going to happen. We are going to have this live session Tuesday instead of Wednesday. So please make note of that. But the time is going to be 11 a.m. EST, 3 p.m. GMT. And on that note, thank you very much for coming. Namaste.